Well, hello, everybody, both of you.
It's
There's
Larry.
one of them you.
It's actually Butch and Sue.
How you doing, Butch? You're actually going to want to stay tuned. And Butch, you might want to get some headphones. Sue, you might want to grab a pair too, because we're going to play some evidence clips that we've got. And some of them are definitely, I mean, they're probably definitely easier to hear with headphones on. They're pretty clear. But it's just kind of a show. We don't put nearly enough evidence out. I know, and a lot of it is going to be TOGHS stuff. And when I was with Outkazt, we're going to play some of that stuff. So yeah, that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to do a little evidence review. If you have any questions or want to talk about anything specific, we can do that tonight too. It's just kind of an open show. We didn't have a guest. We're in the process of moving, so it's
been crazy. And we've had children from out of town for 2 weeks straight, so it's been crazy.
So I kind of left this one kind of open without a guest because I kind of wanted the option to cancel if we had to. So
and the next couple of weeks are going to be kind of
definitely
crazy.
We will definitely not be on next Thursday or the following Thursday, so we'll see. So I don't know, is there anything on your mind that's paranormal?
No, I do know that over the weekend we might go to 6 Precinct just to kind of just go visit and say hi to Ed and get a feel for what the precinct is like, but not do an investigation, just kind of do our first little vibe of it, and then
we'll not do an official investigation.
Yeah,
when you go into a haunted place like that, you got to take your camera and your recorder.
Because I mean, you never know something. But for me, it's going to be getting the vibes that I get. So
we got to take Aaron to the airport. So we figured while we're up there, we're just going to stop by and say hi to Ed, and we've already talked to him, and he said he's going to be there. So we will maybe we'll go live from there for a couple minutes.
Maybe.
So that'd be interesting. It's a cool place. Is it the air conditioner?
I think so.
Okay.
Just so you know, too, after this craziness of the moves, we will have a somewhat studio office. So it won't be so cramped anymore.
Yeah, we're going to try and move the camera back, get a better look.
Once we get into the house that we're going to be settled in, we'll hopefully have a better, so it's not so like we're so crunched up. And
I think I even talked about buying that chroma key colored paint, that green screen paint, and painting a wall.
Yeah, so we'll see.
All right, well, here we go. Let's go ahead and play these are videos, and I can't control them while they're playing on this for some reason. So we're going to get into it, and hopefully Butch is still here because I want him to chime in on this. I'm going to play.
I was going to say also, if you do have comments, make sure you write the comments. My response might be a little delayed because I have to answer them on my phone when we're doing the videos. But definitely, if you have questions, comments, anything, make sure that you're putting them, type them in, and I'll get to them as soon as I can on my phone because I'll be watching that as we're watching clips.
So this first one, we went up to South Rockwood Cemetery. It's up in Michigan. It's actually, I think, called Riverside Cemetery, and it's in Rockwood, Michigan. But this one, actually, Butch is in the first one, and I don't remember all the stories or why we even went there, but so I'm going to set this one up too by saying this. I'm not a fan of the Ovilus, but this is one of the few occasions where it actually spit out relevant stuff that, like, not something that we turned relevant by guiding our questions to what we're coming across the Ovilus. But I'm just going to play this video clip and then we'll talk about it.
Mommy. Sweet.
The Ovilus just said mommy. Say that again.
The Ovilus just said mommy, so. Mommy. Sweet.
The Ovilus just said mommy. Say that again.
The Ovilus just said mommy, so.
So yeah, that one, like I said, I'm not a big fan of that piece of equipment, but that was actually a relevant, because we were in one of the next clips, it's the Story family is where we were, and we were directly above one of the kids' graves. So that was, like I said, that was definitely a relevant capture where it said mommy on the object.
I mean, I vaguely remember, I believe that was up there because we were up there because it was a family. And there was, I think there was like a couple multiple spots where there was family, but there was something with, I want to say the mom and the children, like something happened to them.
I think so too, because we were specifically at that Story family at their gravesite.
Like I said, I don't. I remember vaguely that there was something that happened. Like there was a tragedy with the whole family,
Right.
or with children and the mom, and it was very. I mean, I remember it was something that was. I think it was something like sudden or something, but I can't remember. But if Butch is on, he can.
But
maybe
yeah,
fill
Butch,
us back
if
in.
you remember that place and like what we were doing up there, go ahead. I know we were filming too because we did a presentation at the library. So, and we had talked to a Detroit paranormal group about that cemetery because somebody said it was haunted and they wanted us to go there and investigate a little bit and then do a presentation on it at the library. So here's the next one. This one is about the Story family. It doesn't really give the story of the Story family, but it's related to that. So I'll play this one.
I would say Butch said, he goes, I think the mob got a couple people and they were killed and they were put in the woods right in the corner of the cemetery. And I think the mother had something to do with it. That sounds that sounds familiar. Yeah,
it's kind of coming back to me.
Yeah, it's just I was thrown into that one that we went to, so I don't. It was like a last minute thing.
That might actually have been one of your first ones with TOGHS and everybody.
It was. I think it was one of my very first. Yeah.
We did that in October of 18 or 19.
I don't remember. I think it was one of the first times I actually did something with TOGHS. I was usually I was a tag along for Jeff, and I think that was one of the actual first times I actually did something with TOGHS.
Oh, we're losing people. We're down to 3. I'm going to go ahead and play this story one.
Story.
Wow, and with the story.
We are at
this. Jeff, you got your camera rolling? Yes. Pretty cool.
We are here at where the Story family is buried. In the obelisk just said story.
Story.
Wow, and with the story.
We are at this.
Jeff, you got your camera rolling? Yes. Pretty cool.
We are here at where the Story family is buried. In the obelisk just said story.
So yeah, there you have it. There's a second time where the obelisk was relevant.
Had that, I think, happen quite often with that one. I think there was like multiple times we had that happen at that cemetery.
And I know we caught EVPs there too, but for some reason I am horrible at filing them away in a manner in which I can find them real quick. So, and it could be something Harold has, I don't know, but.
Okay, Sue she goes, I didn't realize readings happen in daylight. I always assume it happens during the night. Actually, we go on hunts all times of day. Actually, some areas I know are more active during the daytime than they are at nighttime. It just may be for that area, what's the active, like cemeteries. I think all the time. It doesn't matter if it's morning, day, or night. That one I think is an all the time thing. Schools, a lot of time, I like schools. I think sometimes that can be like a variance, I think, just because, but a lot, it varies with the situation. Anything
can be haunted anytime, day, night, whatever. I think a lot of the paranormal investigation stuff happens at night is because, one, we are in it for a bit of a thrill, so it's spookier to do it at night. But another reason, too, it's a lot quieter. Like, there's not as many cars driving down the road. There's not as many, things going on that, it takes people walking down the street. It takes that out of the equation. And that's why a lot of paranormal people do stuff at night. So,
I've had stuff happen during the day.
Oh, I've had lots of stuff.
I have lots of stuff. Yeah. I think like a lot of the shadow stuff I see is more, I think, like at this time of day when it's like this, I think is when I see a lot more of the shadow things that happen than any other time of day.
And that camera there too, it made it look a lot brighter than it was because we got there at dusk and we were definitely in there.
Because we didn't have much sunlight there.
No.
It was and it got dark pretty quick.
Yeah. And plus too, I have a big bright light on and blah, blah, blah. Here's another one too, I think, because another one of the claims up there is that, people see shadow people walking around the cemetery. So, and I think this alludes to that. We didn't capture any on camera, but I'm going to play this one too. So.
Butch just saw something back. Rebecca.
Where, Butch?
Butch, what'd you see? Butch, what did you see?
I seen a shadow. pretty much just a figure of somebody walking.
I just heard something.
Something wants to talk. I'm just saying, that funny feeling I get in my throat.
Yeah.
It's that.
Got chills.
I did just
I don't know if it's because it said my name, but I'm kind of tingly and staticky.
Yep, I got chills.
Where are you, Shadow Man? So we put that clip together for the beginning of that presentation we did. I remember too the spirit box, and here again, I don't know why it's not on camera and not showing that, but it did say my name.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of spooked you out when you're in the cemetery by yourself at night and you hear your name being called.
Yeah, and Jeff at some points in the cemetery, he was actually in by himself and not directly with us, so that was kind of crazy.
Yep.
And then like in that clip actually, because some people might not, I don't know if a lot of people know that, but like a lot of times, this has happened multiple times for me. Like sensitive people will have something that just kind of triggers them. Like for me, if something wants to really like voice that it's there, out of my throat like starts burning and I have a hard time talking. We've had that happen several times.
Yeah.
And so then we know, okay, we just got to try to get it to respond somehow. So we do that. And usually it's legit. Usually we get stuff when that happens.
That happened at Maxwell a lot. I remember.
Mhm.
One of the first things you know, it happened too. There was a house, and I can't say exactly where it was, but there was a story of a. I'm just trying to edit myself. So there was a story of a suicide, and it was pretty nasty terms and blah blah blah. But like, you actually got sick on that one.
Very?
No.
Oh,
Don't
yes,
say it out loud,
yes.
but you know
No,
what I'm
yes.
talking about. But that happened to your throat first.
Yeah, and it's actually ironically funny because Harold was trying to throw me into something, and I'm sure he felt really bad afterwards because.
I doubt it.
Yeah, no, he probably didn't. So he actually sent me to do something and goes, go check it out. And this was like more recent. It was probably one of the last hunts that we kind of went on together. And he was like, go check it out. And I was like, all right. So he sent me in before anybody else sends me in, just to kind of look around and see. And I was in there and I just not even a couple minutes. And I came out and I was like really, really sick.
It was a car in a garage.
It was a car in a garage. And I actually opened the door and I just was looking around and all of a sudden I had this horrible smell come across. And
It smelled like weed, gasoline, and death.
Death.
Like
it was horrible. Yep. And Harold was laughing at me and he was like, oh, this is so funny because my throat was just, I could barely talk. My throat was on fire. I came out and I was on the side keeping my guts out because it was that bad.
But I think he changed his tune too because he went and caught a whiff and he was like, oh my God, it was horrible.
Because Dan was with us too. Dan went in and he's looking around too and he's like, I think he got a whiff, but he was a little bit stronger-willed and wanted to find out if he could find out why it smelled so bad. But Harold went in there and he went to the same spot I did and he came out coughing and eyes watering and everything. So it was like, but then the worst part was he made me go back to tell. He was like, hey, I needed something from Jeff. So he sent me back in there to go get Jeff. And I didn't even get, but maybe I was 3 feet from the door and the same thing started happening again. I think I was my voice, I was hoarse for like 2 days after that. It was bad.
And I'll tell a little insight on that too, is that I actually was really, really pissed at Harold that day. Yeah. Because I thought he did it on purpose. I thought he knew something was in there and he sent you into a like dangerous situation because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know it was the smell that was making you puke. And I was like actually really mad at him for about 10 minutes.
It was just like, oh my, I tried to get him and it was like, it just was not working.
I see Harold jumped on too.
Yeah, Harold's laughing. It's like, that was kind of, I think that was Harold's initiation into TOGHS. So he got me on that one because,
But that's another one. I don't know. It's not my investigation. So, and we don't have permission to tell that story, but that's another one of those stories that, like, if you were ever to, sit in a room and chat with me or something like that, I would tell you that story and all the details and all that other stuff, but we can't do it on Facebook because it's, for privacy reasons. But that was a nasty, nasty location.
And that was one that was weird because we had multiple sensitives on site, and all three of us were pretty much all drawn to the same exact spot.
Yeah. And there's an aspect of that case too that Carmen still gives me crap about.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, I think you know.
I think. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, okay. I do. So it's Carmen, and I always will give him crap about that.
Yeah.
So
it involves a Ouija board, and see, my Adam thinks they're perfectly safe, and we should be allowed to play with them and all that other stuff. And Dana just won't let me do it. And I'm definitely torn on Ouija boards. Like, I think a lot of it is your intent, and so, like. But that being said, I've never actually tried one yet because there's still something in me that's like, man, these things are just different. I don't know why. The only
way he has permission to even touch or mess with them is if he's with Adam.
Oh, okay.
Not with Harold, with Adam.
I thought you said Harold.
No, with Adam, he's allowed. That's the only way I would even let you
come close to
one. I think Adam has chuckled at that because that's the only way I will let you play with them.
But yeah, Adam is one of those, and there are a lot of people that think like this, like they're no big deal. There's nothing special about them. It's all,
Harold says for that, what we were talking about is that the Ouija boards could also have played in the haunting.
Yeah, they definitely did. Yeah, one was definitely used for not so, well, let's just say it. One was definitely used for evil intent. I mean, the dude was trying to summon some evil stuff with it. So that one's, in my opinion, that's a marked board. And then Harold claims that he almost flew off the road or something when he was driving with it. So he was like quick to get home and throw it out of his truck because he thought it almost got him in a wreck. So, he called me up. He's like, this, in Harold mode, super fast. And he's, the thing that tried to kill me, it tried to rush me off the road. So.
Harold says misused, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I guess they have a bad rap, Ouija boards, for bringing, but I mean, I can see that they could possibly could be used for good as well, but the majority of people use them for the wrong reasons and the wrong way, and that's why I'm just that's why I said, excuse me, if you did it with Adam, I'd be perfect with.
But see, my whole thing too has been, okay, and I'll say it with the Ouija boards, is that really it's no different than doing an EVP session, in my opinion.
Yeah, but
because you're still trying to communicate with the dead, and you're still asking questions.
Right, but stuff comes up with the Ouija board that doesn't with other stuff.
But does it, or is it?
I don't know.
Because here's another thing, and I said this during class when we did it at Owens, which that's coming up again August 2nd. But most of the people, so everybody I know, or I'm not going to say everybody, a lot of people I know have a story of a friend that played with a Ouija board that went bad.
I don't.
You don't have any friends that told you about a bad Ouija board experience?
No.
Okay. Well, then you're the exception to the rule. But I have quite a few, and it's never them that it happened to. It's always a friend. So I think the Ouija board gets a lot of stigma because I don't want to say stories are getting made up, but maybe exaggerated.
Like I said, I think it could be good use or for bad, but the intention has to be for good. But I think a lot of people have the wrong intention.
We actually pulled a Ouija board out of a relative of mine's house.
Yes, we did. Yes.
And she was younger. Her and a friend were playing around with one. They had no idea what they were doing. It wasn't even an official Ouija board. It was just
made
a spirit
up one.
Board they made up.
Yeah, but
and they had some pretty good details about who they were talking to. So, they called us over to come grab it. So we took it out. That one I actually listened to Carmen on, and I bound it up, and we put
it's
salt in there. I
don't
personally believe in the salt, but if Carmen says put salt in there, then I do. So.
Yep, and we did our little saging of it, and it's tucked away.
Misuse. Okay, so let's move on to another investigation. This one is. Okay, when I was with Outkazt Paranormal, we put kind of a game out, so I didn't label what the EVPs in here say. But I'm going to play this, and you might want to have headphones on for sure for this one. But we were at the Historical Society in Port Clinton, I believe. This is when we were looking for research for the Haunted Hydro, which I've got a clip of that next, but I'll play this one first.
description was wrong or not, we don't know at this point. But figure it had to be well over 100 years. Whether it was description was wrong or not, we don't know at this point. But figure it had to be well over 100 years. Whether it was description was wrong or not, we don't know at this point. But figure it had to be well over 100 years.
Wow, check out, how did they wear those shoes? Wow, check out, how did they wear those shoes? Wow, check out, how did they wear those shoes? You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, so that was from the Historical Society in Port Clinton. Now the first one, okay, and I want to say this too, that the audio does not match the video. That's why I put not actual video. The reason is that it was not captured on the camera. It was captured on audio recorders, and it could have been when we were like not right in front of the camera or something like that. That's why I put just different footage of the place. But we actually caught quite a few there. The first one, it was just a groan. It was, you know, there's a voice in the background. There was the three of us were the only people there, but it was just like, ugh. And if you have headphones on, you can hear it pretty good, especially the third time I boosted the volume just a little bit. The second one, I have no idea what it said. I don't remember, and I lost my notes. But the third one, again, I don't know what was said, but you can hear a woman pretty much say a full sentence, you know, in the background.
Yeah.
And there again, we were the only three in there, so that's what was going on with that one. That was some of the stuff we caught with, you know, with Outkazt. Here's another one from the Haunted Hydro, and Harold and Butch and went with us on that, and Hops went with us on that one. Dana was not there, but these are really, really good EVPs. So I'll go ahead and just play this.
Or maybe like Ryan said, it said, you know, I'm dead. I'm dead. Or maybe like Ryan said, it said, you know, I'm dead. I'm dead. It's a bug. Oh. It's a bug. Oh.
Okay, so there again, that video didn't line up with the audio because on that one, those were captured on recorders, and we didn't have a video of the actual moment that they were captured. So that's why the video and the audio don't line up. But I think those are, I mean, you guys, Harold and Butch, chime in and tell me those are Class A, I think. I mean, that one, I really think we informed somebody that they died, because the dude's like, you know,
Yeah.
should I say it? Okay,
No, just.
I won't say it because I don't want to get flagged, but he's like, it almost sounds like he's asking a question like, frick, I'm dead. You know, like that.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. And then that helped me, Nicole. That was another, I mean, that's in my opinion, that's really good. I don't know if Harold chimed in.
Yeah, Harold said great EVPs.
Yeah, I think those are really good
Yeah.
ones. But then so I mean, that was a fun night. Harold caught some EVPs there too. I don't remember again what they said. And again, like I said, we're moving and stuff, so I definitely did not have time to put together as many clips and things like that as I wanted to. And actually, some of these I thought I lost a bunch of videos, but I found them on my old computer. Thank God, because I had the Executive Diner on there, all my stuff from there. I had all my stuff from Ace Hardware, which is related to the Sylvania story, where, you know, all the buildings are haunted by the serial killer return ward. All that stuff was on my old computer, and I was searching through my hard drives and I thought I lost it. So I was really glad that I found those. But then I found these videos too. So, all right, let's go next to, first of all, does anybody have any questions before I play? You know, just any questions, paranormal related. It doesn't matter what they are.
Oh, thank you, Melody. And actually, it's not even the best hairdo. This is just freshly washed hair. So.
Okay, so I think, okay, I'm going to play, let's see, I'm going to play the next video. It's a little bit longer. The setup on this one, and while I'm playing this, you know, like I said, if you guys got
Harold
questions.
has a question.
How does an EVP happen? That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, okay, so like
actually, I do know how you can find out or maybe get more information.
How's that?
If you go to the class that TOGHS is going to be putting on in August, you might learn some more information about how some of these things work. And that, just a little plug there for the class. Yeah. Jeff will be teaching part of the class. I got a feeling I'll be running, probably helping with the screens and then just stuff here and there. I know Carmen will be there. Mm-hmm. Butch will be there. Becky, I don't know, is Michelle participating?
Probably.
I'm not sure. And then Dan will be there if he can be for some. The whole gang will be there. I think this will probably be the first time we're all together.
Yeah, Dan will be there if he's not hurt.
Yeah, if he's not hurt.
Dan likes to hurt himself pretty frequently.
So we'll all be there, but yeah, so that is a great way to find out about.
But I think to answer that question, okay, so an EVP, you're not going to capture, I don't think, and man, here again, I'm talking out of my butt here. This is all what I know about sound and all that other stuff. It's not a it's not a receiver, so you're not catching like, you know, radio signals or you know, stuff like that. So,
and we have Harold says, I think it has a lot to do with the spectrum of sound. And
I mean, yeah, because recorders
or hearing.
Different recorders will record from X amount of hertz to X amount of hertz.
And we've proven that this is like women hear differently than men, because Jeff and I have heard this where I hear an EVP and he doesn't, and he hears I don't, and it's the same clip. And then some of them we hear totally two different. We hear the same thing, but totally think it's totally different things.
I think any team goes through that. Like you'll catch an EVP, and you know, one person will say, in fact, the next video that I'm going to show actually kind of displays that phenomena where it sounds like one thing here, but the exact same thing clearly is something different here on two different devices. But it's, you know, it's clearly a voice that was there when we were there. But I mean, yeah, I mean, we all have our sweet spots of hearing too, because there'll be EVPs that, you know, Harold and Becky have played EVPs for me before, and it's like, I can't hear that. Or they'll tell me what they think it says, and it's like, you guys are both nuts because it clearly says this. I mean, people hear different.
And sometimes somebody can catch it that other people don't catch it until they go back and say, oh, yeah, it is there. I mean, that happens a lot. Jeff is better at catching them. I mean, occasionally I catch one, but most of the time Jeff, and he's like, listen to this. And I'm like, and I mean, if I was just listening and not really having it pointed out, I would never have caught it.
Hands down, the best person that I've ever done EVP stuff with is Melissa from Outkazt. I think Carmen and I, when we were talking about it, it's audio clairvoyant. I mean, she hears crap that's like, how in the world did you even hear that? And then when she tells you what it says, it's like, by God, you're right, it is there.
Yeah.
So Don says what?
Do we think some EVPs could have been heard in real time, but our brains are just too active at the time to notice?
It's possible. And I will say this too. We use a lot of times when we do EVP sessions, we do, and I don't know if you do it, Don, or not, but we'll wear headphones. And it does seem like recorders will capture amplified. So like if we're talking at 10, recorders seem to record at like 12 or 13. So recorders themselves have like at least mine has natural amplification.
Yeah.
So when you actually run around with headphones on listening to your recorder, I've definitely heard a lot more voices live.
Okay, and this is something oddly, because I've worked with special needs for a long time, just several different, like at different levels and that. And I think like some have more, like they hear things like way more than we do.
Yeah.
And then, I've had, actually, I worked with one person that they would be sitting and turning and looking for this stuff. I'm like, what the heck? And they're just like telling me people are talking, and they're like hearing people from like 4 rooms over. So I think it's just like that. Sometimes that's kind
Well,
of.
and they're, people with special needs too. I mean, that's I think they're a beacon
Oh,
to the spirit
definitely,
world, and also too,
definitely.
like, a lot of religious people and stuff say that they're more closer to angels than we could ever be. Like we're screwed up, and they're the ones that are normal, basically.
Yeah.
That's-
Don said, sounds possible. OCD may be more focused. That is definitely true, because I know at work because I'm on headphones all day long at work. And let me tell you, when my OCD kicks in, I can hear like a pin drop in the background to the person I'm talking to. And otherwise, sometimes I can tune everything out. So I think that's part of it too.
But it is too, like, I know when I review them, I usually sit in a quiet place by myself, and it's like, so you don't have distractions.
Yeah, I usually don't see them for
and you
hours.
probably did miss it when you actually occurred. But yeah, there's definitely been times where I've heard, those are the best ones, as the ones that like you hear talking over your shoulder or something like
the
that
one
in real
at
time. At Century Tavern.
Century Tavern. Yeah, that one was crazy, because it would have been different if it was just one person, but it was 5 people heard it. Then we heard it on the recorder, and then on the video. So
well, the first time I went to the Maxwell haunting, that same thing happened. I was like, and it was weird too, because they had all been around that place for a few years. This was my first trip there, and I'm standing with my back to the basement doorway, and I heard a woman say something out of the basement. I'm like, didn't you guys all hear that? You know what I mean? And I looked at Harold, like, he just nodded his head, like, yeah, we all heard that, but we're used to it. So it was.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I heard a voice like in real time. I was like, oh,
Century's been the first time I've heard.
Yeah, that was crazy. That one said "Hear Us." I played that a couple weeks ago in Carmen.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to playing this one. This was up. So it does have an example of where we actually heard real time the EVP happen, and this was a house that was like a gold mine for EVPs. I don't know why, because it didn't necessarily feel scary or really feel haunted, but we caught more clear EVPs from this house, I think, than any other place that I've been to. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. It's we call this one the Watson haunting. So I'm going to play this video. It's like I said, it's a little bit longer. So.
Something just said my name. Something just said my name. Something just said my name.
Why do you want us to get out of here? You want to listen?
It's at 15:35.
What? Why do you want us to get out of here? You want to listen?
It's at 15:35.
What? What? Do you want us to get out of here? You want to listen?
It's at 15:35.
What? Do you want us to get out of here? You want to listen?
It's at 15:35.
What?
35.
What? Why do you want us to get out of here? You want to listen?
It's at 15:35.
What? Why do you want us to get out of here? You want to listen?
It's at 15:35.
What?
Mark on the recorder 550. I just heard a woman.
She messaged me.
Oh, on Facebook.
Did your mom tell her that she shared your phone?
Oh, I'm sure.
She messaged me.
Oh, on Facebook.
Did your mom tell her that she shared your phone?
Oh, I'm sure.
Did your mom tell her that she shared your phone? Did your mom tell her that she shared your phone?
Yeah. I'm not the speaker. Yeah. I'm not the speaker.
So I guess in the comments, let us know what you thought about that video. But I mean, that place, and we had more.
Dan
caught
said,
too, but I mean-
Dan was like, okay, orgy was insane.
Yeah, dude, that like, I mean, seriously, that clearly came from in the house. Me and Melissa were the only two in the house because Dan had left hours before that. But that was really loud. And the other one too, so the first one, it was saying Melissa. That was separate than the second one where it said, she thought it was saying Melissa, but then we captured it on 3 different devices, and to me, it clearly says, I'll slap you.
Yeah.
And it's, that was.
And that was one of those ones
really
because if you hear it certain ways, it does sound like Melissa, but then when you hear it the other way, it's like, oh, it does sound like I slap you.
And we had okay, so let's see if I can so we were sitting here up against the wall. My camera was here pointed at us, and everything indicates that the voice came from back here, the dining room that was back there. I mean, it's just with the different devices and where they were set, you could pinpoint like where the voice came from. It was, I mean, that's one of the best ones I think I've ever captured. That and the orgy one.
The orgy one cracks me up because as we said, it sounds like a slap.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like smack.
It says
orgy.
And the way it says it, it just cracks me up.
Yep.
It kind of reminds me of Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah. Orgy. And then the one that said hammer safety wood, like, I mean, none of us would have said that. So, like, where did that come from? Nobody, and to me, it clearly said those things. So, I know we captured more there too. I don't know where those are at. We're gonna have to find. I know Harold has a video that we took I think from our, because we investigated there like 2 or 3 times, and Harold made a video of evidence. I don't know if that was the second time or the third time, but we caught some weird, goofy, clear ones there too. Something to do with a camera and take my picture, and some kind of weird, goofy laugh. I mean, Dan, I don't think Dan's watching, is he?
I haven't seen him on.
Okay.
So he's.
Well, I mean, if Dan were watching, he could chime in, because I bet you he remembers what the ones that had to do with the camera and stuff are. So that was a good. I'll have to find maybe some more, and if we ever do like evidence again, which we probably will.
Yeah. And once, because we're still in the remodeling phase of not just the moving, but also of the page and everything. So eventually we're going to have it where we do have files up, so you'll be able to go right to the files and be able to find them. It's just, like I said, we're in a growing phase and trying to figure out everything. So eventually that will be easier to find those things.
And me and Harold, we do so much together. I know he doesn't care if I post that stuff on my YouTube channel, but I mean, sometimes too, I even though. Okay, so I called Harold the other day to ask permission to play some of these videos. He's like, why are you even asking me? Blah blah. It's like, I don't. If we're on an investigation for TOGHS, I don't feel it's my right to put stuff on my page without permission. I just think it's an old school way of thinking. But I think all of the paranormal drama, a lot of it, or not all of it, but a lot of it centers around people not giving credit where they should. And that's a big problem. If you're on an investigation with TOGHS and you capture something, I mean, you should say that you were there with TOGHS every time that you play that piece of evidence. So,
I mean, it's obvious when we went to Spaghetti Warehouse, because we had several different people with us. We had Outkazt, we had Joe from 222 Paranormal on podcast, and so I mean, and we had Boo Productions, and we have TOGHS, because. I don't know if everybody, and I think everybody should know, but I am a member of TOGHS, but I also am Boo Productions. So I kind of do both, but we're always together. So
I'm like the shadow government of TOGHS. I'm not an official member, but I'm there in the background, and I make all the decisions and pull the puppet strings. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's something that, because
Yeah, you're an official member.
Yeah,
Harold won't let me be a member. I don't know why. Probably because I tell him to F off too many times. But.
Yeah, so I'm an actual member of TOGHS, but then, and I do their the research and the historian, so I do a lot of that stuff. But I do a lot of that for Boo Productions too. But then I do like the Facebook stuff and all that. So I try to keep on top of that, which sometimes it's hard because I have 3 Facebook pages I do, because I also do TOGHS, so it gets crazy. And sometimes if you are members of all of them. Yeah, that is why you get ahead.
Sisterhood.
That's why you get ahead, or you'll see me and I'll have like the same post in like the TOGHS, the Boo Productions, because I have so many. Sometimes.
Well, we do a lot of the same stuff together too, and it's just I've always kept the Boo Productions paranormal thing, because one, like when I do videos and someday a documentary will come out, but I want to have control over the artistic vision of the documentary. I don't ever want somebody sitting above me. Like, I don't want to work for somebody making a documentary, because I tried that one time and it didn't work. I mean, it was fine, but there was too many chiefs and not enough Indians. I mean, I didn't want to be told what to cut. Maybe that was me trying to be too controlling and kind of be a jerk, but I had my own artistic vision, and I couldn't, like, if you told me exactly what you wanted, I couldn't necessarily put that together, but the way that I saw it, I could do it. So I don't know.
Right. And I think this way you do let me keep you in line a little bit, but not much.
But then plus too, with, some of the paranormal cases we take, I probably take some that TOGHS wouldn't take, only because they've, there's a lot of experience on that team, and, they can weed out a lot of stuff before they even get to an investigation or anything like that. Whereas I kind of feel like I'm cutting my chops. Like I need to get burned a time or two, which I actually have been a couple times with, fake cases or people that like just, aren't forthcoming, or I'm not going to say faking it, but I mean,
it also, it gives us some experience. So we learn to, I know from the past several that we've done over COVID, I've learned quite a bit of what to look for, what not, what to look for, what to anticipate, what not to, and I mean, to read people better. So, I mean, for me, it was a growing experience. And then, of course, having my first time that I actually got to actually do an investigation with Harold and with Joe, that was like huge for me, because I had never, I mean, they have so much experience and knowledge. So that was like really, I enjoyed that. And I hope I get to do that again, because it taught me a different way to approach my investigating, which I would never have seen, because the way I had learned was from people that don't, I mean, their way, I mean, they didn't approach it the same way. And so I'm glad that I got to see that, because it is such, it is great to have, but it's great to be able then to go and get that fresh experience that we don't have people with us that have that experience. So we have to figure it out for ourselves. So that was, I mean, that was a plus, that we had to figure things out for ourselves.
And I'm a believer too in that, you know, there are people with mental issues, and I really think that they can be, so like, so our questionnaire asks, you know, about mental drugs that you may be taking, or, you know, anything like that. And it's, my theory has always been that, like, just because you have mental problems and are taking some of these medications, it doesn't mean that you're not haunted. I mean, you can.
We just want to know a lot of times, because there can be side effects that people don't realize from those medications. So that gives us a better idea of how to approach things as well.
Yep, and it's tricky too, because sometimes you tell people that, like, okay, these are side effects from some of those medications you're taking, and then they get upset with you and, you know, think that you're calling them crazy, and it's like, no, I'm not saying you're crazy. No. I'm just saying that, like,
we still want to help you. It's just we want you to make sure
you got to be aware
that you tell your psychiatrist or your therapist or whoever that this is happening, and you're not sure if could this be a side effect, because a lot of times it is the side effect. But like I said, there are times that there is others in there.
Well, there was one case too specific where, like, I mean, this person was on some of the medications, but I truly believe that house was haunted too.
And she took the information that we said, I guess we learned to approach it differently, because I told Jeff responded before I talked to him. And I think the way it was approached was she took it wrong. And she never responded back to us, but it was like, no, we still want to help you, but we want you to be aware that this is going on, so you may need to have this checked too. And it was, I mean, it was frustrating, because there was a lot going in the house, because I actually got hurt. I didn't get hurt, but I got pinched there.
But it was frustrating too, because I mean, I had, you know, and this person will never know this, but I had a ton of hours in analyzing and reviewing and watching DVR cameras, and we didn't even full on investigate there, but I had just a massive amount of hours trying to figure out. And I do believe that this house was haunted, but, you know, she got really, really upset really quick. And, you know, it's unfortunate, because, and I just suggest it here again, we were talking on the phone about a half an hour before I sent her these articles about some psychiatric meds. And I told her, I was like, I totally believe you, and we're here to help and listen and blah, blah, blah. And you know, and then she just, that was it. I don't know. I'm trying to not give too many details, because I definitely don't want.
I mean, and so we learned
to sound like I'm bashing
so
the
we
person,
learned
I'm
to
not.
approach that. But then again, we had another case that we went to, and this was more recent, and there was a lot of psych issues going on there, and there was more problems than that person wanted to admit to. And because I got a vibe, I was like, we need to get out of here. I think honestly, if we would have stayed, something may have happened. But that person, I think, really needed to, I mean, you have to take every case, but you have to take every case differently, and you have to look at everything. And I've worked with psych patients, I've worked with dementia patients, I've worked with special needs, so I'm well rounded in those. So it's like I get vibes on them very easily, but I also know every case is different, and every case we've done that has had to deal with psych, I mean, I've looked at it that way, and I mean, it's like, we need to, and because I even told Jeff, I think we're gonna have to kind of be cautious, because this lady, the one that we went to, she did not like women. Because anytime I would talk, she would cut me off immediately and go and ask the same thing she asked me. She'd go and ask Jeff, and it would be because she didn't like my answer. So it was like, yeah.
And then too, you know, this is another thing that I think Harold and Butch are really good at weeding out. That it's like I need to have this happen to me so that I can gain my chops too. But another example is a lot of people want you to be the ghost show.
Yeah.
You know, they make up that their house is haunted and they got demons coming out of their closets every night and scratching people and throwing people around. And then when you set up an investigation and you go there and there's about 10 people sitting on their deck with beer.
Yeah.
And they're like, then it's like, oh my God, I see what this is. We're the ghost show.
It's a joke. And it's like, it's.
Then you hear about the 14 investigators that they've already had there. And, it's just, my time is too valuable. I do not have time for any of that stuff. But that's happened a few times. And Butch and Harold are very good at weeding that out. And Becky too. They're good at weeding that out before you even go to the case, before it even gets to an investigation.
And we'll get back, because like I haven't been as active in that first initial contact. I'm usually, my first initial contact is the first visit we go. And so we have to, so I'm learning, we're learning as we go, but like I said.
Don's experienced it too. It looks like he says we've got to go show people too.
And so I think we're all, and so it might be the same people. You never know.
Well, I know for a fact that as Outkazt, I went on one that Harold and Butch had done a couple years before. And, we didn't say anything to them before we went to it, but like, had we talked to them, maybe we wouldn't have gone. It was the exact same people,
and
same house.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes, like in our questionnaire too, we ask people if they watch the ghost shows. Because sometimes you can get sometimes in the responses, you can see a trend of like the things they're telling you that are happening are like word for word of things that happen in these ghost shows. Well, and it's like, really?
And we had one too where like, so this person.
I know which one you're talking
this person got hit in the head. And since they got hit in the head, they were having hauntings from H.H. Abrams. Mm-hmm. But ironically, it was the same week after Ghost Adventures did one of their specials on H.H. Abrams, and then
it was the mob.
Chicago, the mob, and it was a week after. It's like, okay, like,
and then it was shooting. It was the person that got shot across the street from her. Then that one was haunting her. So yeah.
And there again, though, I mean, in here, I don't want to sound like I'm picking on this person because that's a house where some mental issues are happening, and they're real and they're legit. And they have, special needs kids, which that is a beacon to bring stuff into your house. I mean, you talk to any medium or psychic or, that's certainly one of the working theories is that people with special needs will bring that stuff to your house. So, I mean, it is a touchy situation because it's like, clearly you're not being haunted by H.H. Abrams. You watched it on Ghost Adventures the week before, but you have special needs kids that are seeing things and talking to things and this and that.
Well, this is something too. I don't know if you believe this, but so Jeff doesn't like meditation. I meditate overnight. I do a lot of my meditation in that, except when my kids are home because they don't like listening to it, so I don't do it. But a lot of things too, and Jeff, I think, has experienced this. The last thing you watch on TV before you go to bed, or if you go to bed listening or watching something, that is what you're going to remember. You're going to have dreams and stuff about that.
Creepy ass dreams when she listens to that stuff, and I can hear it.
Well, and so it's just funny, but I mean, a lot of times he's had issues with shows he's watched. Yep. He's watched like ghost shows or like horror movies, and then he, in the middle of the night, he's like, the crazy dreams I had. And people don't realize that too, if they're watching all this ghost stuff before they go to bed or they fall asleep to watching it. Well, because if you are a light sleeper, you're listening to this stuff and you're hearing it. And so then you're thinking this is actually real, but it's not, because it's something that you're hearing.
Because I was definitely like in my dreams too, like when you were listening to that for like a 2-3 week period, like they were violent. Like, I mean, for some reason I was in shootouts all the time.
It's because he doesn't meditate enough.
And I think it's because I play some video games here and there. But I mean, I was definitely in a live Call of Duty game.
Mm-hmm. That's when because I was listening to the Lucid game.
And it's funny because I racked up 8 kills, but I got killed by the circle, and only Call of Duty fans will know what the heck I'm talking about. But I mean, it was vivid. Another time is, my house is always getting robbed when I have these dreams, and I'm in a shootout with some bad dudes. That's weird stuff. I don't like it. It's not that I don't like it. Okay, so it's 7:56. I want to play this last clip, or maybe we should just save it till next time. This is another TOGHS clip, but this is one of the coolest visual things I think I've ever seen. That, like, you know,
Maybe,
it's not on TV. Someone I know actually captured this.
but maybe next time we'll play it now, but then the next
Yeah.
time we'll have the enhanced one.
I'll play the EVP first. This is from Windhurst haunting. Butch always sets up, and this is good practice to do, but he always sets up a recorder, and I think this is how this one was captured. As soon as he walks in the house, he puts a recorder down somewhere, and I think this was captured on that recorder. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. This is a TOGHS video.
See what we can find up here.
So that was when they were going, I think when they were going up, it looked like
Up to the attic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that clearly couldn't wait for them to get there and get their investigation on. It was telling them to hurry. So here again, I'm going to play this clip. This is a video thing. This is a TOGHS capture again,
This is
same
like
place.
the coolest thing.
Yeah, this is cool. And I know everybody's going to say right off the bat, it's a finger. Well, I don't have enough time to get into all the stuff, and maybe Harold can put a comment, but like, he actually had this analyzed, and it's a translucent thing. It's definitely not a finger. It looks to me like a blank face with hair. So just check this out.
Our equipment. Is everybody's cell phones off? I invite you to turn on the flashlight, to knock on something, to move something, to open the attic door, to speak to us,
All right, I'm trying
blow the
something.
candle out.
There it was. Okay, I'm going to play that one more time, but did you see, like, in the, I guess it would be this side of the screen, you'll see this thing dart into it and then go back.
Yeah, it's like
So I'm
in
gonna
this
play
upper
it.
corner. It's like up. Which finger am I going? This way. It's up.
No, it's over here.
Yeah,
No, it's
it's
we're
so
back.
cute. It's so backwards. So it's like, yeah, you'll see it.
I'll point it out to you, because I'm trying something different where I unmute my mic so I can talk about this clip when it happens. This is something I just discovered that we could do.
And actually, I can see it from here. And
Okay.
then
Is everybody's cell phones off?
So hopefully,
I invite you to turn on the flashlight, to knock on something,
so when the
to
camera
move
swings
something,
to the left, that's when you're going to see it on the left
to open
hand
the
side.
attic door,
I wish I could pause it.
to speak to us, to blow the
Right
candle out.
there. So hopefully you guys all saw that. Maybe you heard my commentary, maybe you didn't. I'm not sure, because I tried a new function on the software. But it was, you know, clearly it's a. In there again,
it's
Harold
something.
can.
Yeah, if Harold's still on, he
Yeah,
can
if he's
say
still on, he
something.
can talk about it, or, you know.
Or even Butch up Harold. He goes, I believe he was the same entity that ripped the kitchen cupboard off the wall.
But he actually, you know, Harold had a guy analyze that and put it in different, you know, try different, you know, I don't know, altering the image to see, you know, if it was faked, if it was a finger, if it, you know, what it was. And his photo expert, and the guy is an expert, he's been doing it for, I think, about 50 years or something like that. That guy said absolutely, without a doubt, in his opinion, that's a ghost, because it's translucent. It's not, you know, and there again, I wish I could pause when we were playing the video. I wish that I could pause it on that spot, because then you can get a good look at it. But so I think, you know, we crammed that one in at the end, and I think we're just going to go ahead and end it, because it's 8 o'clock. It's been an hour. What did Harold say?
He simply, looked into the camera. Yeah, like almost like, what is this? And
in the setup of the room too, like the guy was standing with his left shoulder.
he said it happened twice that night.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, what didn't he come like over the chair one time too? I
Or
think.
is he talking about ripping a kitchen cupboard off the wall happened twice? I'm not sure. There's definitely more about that haunting that I don't know
Maybe
about.
we'll do that when we have Harold on. That will be one of them we talk about.
Yep, I'm saving Harold for kind of a special guest. I have an idea with him. Like, I want to do
In the attic.
almost a remote with Harold sometime. where Harold's going to be on several times.
We
there's
need
no
to
doubt
do a
about it.
campfire.
But that's what I want to
with
do the
Harold.
first time he's on. We want to have Harold around a campfire, a couple beers, and tell some ghost stories. Because if you've never heard Harold tell a ghost story,
And the best
you're missing
story
out.
is the cemetery story, because it was my first time hearing a Harold story and absolutely loved it. And so we definitely have to have another Harold telling that story, because you think it's going to be one thing, and it goes, every time you think it's going to go one way, it's a fork in the road, and it goes another way.
Like
That's another fork, then it's another. But it was
M. Shalom Night movie or whatever that guy is that did like
I don't
the
know.
village and stuff like that. It's a crazy
hysterical.
story.
I love that story, and everybody should hear that story, because it is just
But
amazing.
definitely beers have to be involved. I
Yes.
think when we have Harold on for the first time.
But
But
we'll
then
have
after
to
that,
figure-
he'll probably be a semi-regular guest.
We'll have to figure out how to do that one outside. Actually, once we have the move done, we'll have it, because we have a nice fire pit back there. So.
And I want to have Becky on sometime too, because Becky's got a lot to add, and she's never really, Becky really never gets to talk.
Right.
I'm not going to say doesn't get to talk by herself, but like,
Just
I want to
Becky.
interview Becky one time on the show, and that's it.
And we'll have Butch and we'll have to have
We
Butch
gotta
on
have
one
Butch
time
on
too.
tonight for sure. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know if
we
we're
should have
kissing
Dan.
people's butts that are in the group, but I mean, Butch, like between Butch and Harold, they got what? I gotta imagine 80 years experience. doing
Probably,
this.
yeah.
Like, I mean, probably more so than anybody else in town. I mean,
The only
anybody
one
I
I don't
know.
know about is Dan.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't have Dan. on.
Dan,
It's pretty
yeah,
boring.
Dan. I don't know about that one.
Plus this big old castle getting away.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Dan. All right, guys, we are going to wrap it up for tonight, and hopefully you enjoyed this. I want to do another evidence show where we show clips and EVPs and stuff like that. It'll be a lot more organized next time and shorter clips, so that we can play it and then talk about it, play it a couple times.
Yep, and we're gonna start getting it lined up. So on the Facebook page, we have where you can see the files of what we're showing on the show afterwards. You'll be able to see the whole show, all those clips in one file.
It's archived, but I mean, I think the YouTube channel is where we'll direct people for that.
For that one.
We'll post those. I need to start a playlist of clips or something like that. So.
Yeah, but we're starting to get better. We have Instagram. I actually have it on my Instagram, but now I'm gonna start flipping it to Boo. So I'm gonna try to tie in Boo Facebook post to Instagram as well. And so hopefully we're trying to get everything lined up. Thank you to my daughter that is a graphic designer and a marketing and a PR person, because she's helping us a lot with this, because we have no clue what we're doing.
And we're still learning. I mean, we're slowly but surely, this has been on YouTube tonight as well, YouTube Live. I think last week we had somebody
We
watching
did
YouTube,
actually
which
have
was cool.
somebody I work with, they actually came on and said hi. So that's the only reason I knew it was on YouTube, because she's not on Facebook. So it was
She
like
should win a prize because the first YouTube viewer. So anyway, I say we wrap it up, and we will come back hopefully next Thursday.
And next
possibly
Thursday,
not.
maybe
We'll
we'll get you. Maybe if we'll just do a quick one just to kind of get you updated, because the next week we might be in the middle of transitioning Wi-Fi from one place to the other as well too, and that's going to be the big issue. Is with the Wi-Fi.
So, all right, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for the comments, and we will talk to you later.
Bye.